After an entertaining weekend of League One action, we have two final midweek fixtures of the season involving Peterborough, Cheltenham Town, Cambridge United and Wycombe Wanderers. Now, the Cambridge and Wycombe game has pretty much zero significance to really anything important in the league, but the Cheltenham and Peterborough game has a massive amount of importance. Peterborough need the 3 points and hopefully a big swing on goal difference to keep themselves in the battle for automatic promotion. And Cheltenham Town need the win in order to keep themselves in that hunt for safety. Now, with just 6 points to play for both those sides, it's very difficult to see what is going to happen. It's very difficult to understand the upcoming games. But there's 2 games to go for these sides, 1 game for everybody else. Let's take a look into the league table and how the results could impact the table. Here we have it then, the top end of the League One table, which is the first part we'll start off with, looking at Peterborough United. A win for them and hopefully a swing in goal difference will put them level on points with Bolton Wanderers, heading into the final game of the season where they play Bolton Wanderers, looking for the 3 points to close up to Derby County, who are currently on 89. Now on the final day, Derby County face Carlisle, so what is going to happen in that game, who knows? Can Peterborough or Bolton challenge them? That is going to be very interesting to look at. If we look further down the table, obviously Wycombe Wanderers are currently sitting in 11th place, covered by my cursor. 61 points from 41 games. A win would take them to 10th. No real great change. Obviously, they face Cambridge United, who were recently visited by Derby County. If we scroll down a little bit more on this league table, you'll see Cambridge United in 19th on 46 points. They probably want to take a point out of this game just to sort of secure themselves. But ultimately, are Cheltenham going to win 2 games out of 2? They face Peterborough, which is going to be difficult. Obviously, Burton face Fleetwood on the final day. Fleetwood are already relegated. They're going to be able to get a result. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these midweek games go. Obviously, it will have massive implications on the relegation battle and automatic promotion fight. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, turn on the notification bell and stay tuned for all my latest EFL League One content and maybe Championship content heading into next season. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts about these midweek games coming up in the comments down below and I'll catch you in the next part of the video. So starting off then, we're going to take a look at this game with Cambridge United at the Abbey Stadium versus Wycombe Wanderers. Obviously, the head-to-head does not look too kind for Wycombe, for Cambridge, sorry. 10 wins for Wycombe, 2 draws and 2 wins for Cambridge. Obviously, this is a game which stretches back quite a while. Obviously, Wycombe Wanderers got the best of them last season in April, but Cambridge showed they were capable of beating them in the October. And then earlier in this season, back in October, the sides drew 0-0. So it shows that Cambridge are capable of getting a result. And I think, as a Derby fan, I watched Cambridge this weekend play against Derby and I thought they were a very good side, just lacking that clinical nature. Now, Derby were very happy to sit in and defend because of the height in the team and the 3 centre-halves that they have are arguably 3 of the best defenders in the league. Maybe Sonny Bradley not, but you know what I mean. So it's going to be very difficult for Cambridge United. They're going to have to break down a very good physical Wycombe side. There's a lot at play in this game for me. Cambridge want to secure safety. Wycombe don't really have anything to play for. So that could play into Cambridge's hands. Obviously, Gary Monk, despite losing 3 of his previous 5, they've put in some really good performances, especially the one against Derby, the draw against Charlton, the win against Wigan. I do think they've put in some good performance. Obviously, Wycombe Wanderers, since that draw with Derby County, where I believe they secured safety that day, they've won all 3 games. And they've played Shrewsbury, Port Vale and Carlisle. Obviously, Carlisle and Port Vale now relegated down to League 2. So Wycombe Wanderers only really have pride to play for. I believe they've been experimenting with some things heading into next season, sort of try and get them into where they want to be and know what they need through the transfer window. Obviously, a win would put them 2 points clear of Leyton Orient heading into the final day, so they'd probably end up finishing 10th in the league. So for me, it's going to be a tough game for both sides, really. I think Cambridge, although in my opinion have been safe for a couple of weeks, I think once they hit 45 points, I think they're pretty safe. I think 1 point per game in this league is safety. We'll obviously find out come the end of the season, come this weekend, and we will have a full league review. I'll go through each team, and I'll do a full roundup of the league and then a roundup for each team. And if you subscribe to the channel, you can stay tuned for that when that comes out. But I think Cambridge are safe. I don't really think they need to win the game. I think a point would be best possible situation, because then they're pretty much safe anyway. But ultimately, it all comes down to what happens in the other game between Cheltenham and Peterborough. Because if Peterborough win that game, then it doesn't matter what happens in this game. So it's one of those where for me, this game's going to be a really tight affair, and then whatever's happening in the other game will filter over into this game and will have an impact on what's going on. But we've taken a look into Cambridge and Wycombe. Obviously, Cambridge under the stewardship of what's his name, Gary Monk. He's done a really good job for me so far. Obviously, they've got a long way to go, and they've got a lot of recruitment that they need to do over the summer. But hopefully, they'll find themselves in a better situation come next season. And then we have a big one, Cheltenham Town at home versus Peterborough United. Now, Cheltenham have shown over recent years that they can beat Peterborough. They beat them back in 2020 in the Cup 1-0. They beat them last season 3-0 away from home. So it's not impossible to see that Cheltenham come away with a result in this game. Obviously, back in September, Peterborough came away 3-0 victors. Peterborough really are probably the better side heading into this game, but Peterborough have made a host of changes in their previous game. They really are setting themselves up for the playoffs. I think they made 4 changes from what I'd consider their strongest side. They played a right back who is supposedly an up-and-coming thing for Peterborough United, and he seemed to put in a really good performance. I did review the games on this channel. If you haven't checked that out already, make sure you go and check that out. It should be like 2 videos down on my channel. There'll be an F1 review and then this one talking about the title, well, the promotion race and things like that. But for me, Peterborough and Cheltenham will both go into this game thinking we've got nothing to lose. Peterborough aren't expected to get automatic promotion. Like, if we look at the table, obviously there's only 6 points in it, but they need Derby to lose. Same as Bolton, need Derby to lose. Like, in this situation, I know I'm a Derby fan, so you might say I'm a bit biased, but Derby have to get the job done. Like, it's a point against Carlisle, and it doesn't matter what anybody else does. And for me, Derby have got to get it done. And if we look at the recent results of the two sides, obviously Cheltenham picked up that impressive win at the Pirelli Stadium in midweek, but ultimately they then ended up losing to Lincoln City, which sort of put that win sort of on the back burner, really. But 1 win in 5, not great, but it's one of those. Obviously, Peterborough have shown that they can get beat this season. They've had some really big defeats this season. Derby, Oxford most recently, the 5-0 defeat. But they've also had some really big wins. You're looking at 4-1 at Fleetwood, 3-0 Port Vale. Like, they're not a bad team defensively, and they're really good going forward. It's like they're sort of like average defensively, really good going forward. And it's one of those things. I think they have quite a young back line. Obviously, Ronnie Edwards, sort of the main figurehead of that back line. They've got Knight in there as well. They did have Kioso from Rotherham, who went back in January. So it's one of those for me where Peterborough don't really need to win the game. It doesn't really matter if they win the game, because at the end of the day, are they going to get automatic promotion? Probably not. Obviously, they want to give themselves the best possible chance. And for me, whatever side they put out should be capable of beating Cheltenham. Now, obviously, Cheltenham have to win. If Cheltenham don't win, they're relegated. And it's that simple, really. And it's disappointing. It is. I was hoping that Cheltenham would stay up. Obviously, signing Curtis Davies over the summer, it was a team which I grew a bit of a liking for. Can't really say I've kept up with the results, but I like to keep my eye in on who's where and stuff like that. And I think Davies has had a decent season. I think he's averaging a 7, above 7 rating for them this season when he's played, which is obviously quite good for him. Cheltenham Town fans, if there is any watching this video, let me know your thoughts on your season down below. I personally think your start to the season is the reason why you're getting relegated. I think you just started too slowly, and ultimately it's one of those things. It happens in football. Hopefully you'll come back stronger, going into League 2, rebuilding and going again. Peterborough United obviously have the upper hand going into this game. obviously a much better squad. It shows in the league position. It shows off the pitch, on the pitch. Like, it's just one of those things. And that's what happens in football. So they are the games for this midweek set of fixtures in League One. The final midweek games of the season. And we've got just 2 games left. And the season's been long. It's been tough. It's been difficult. And it's been up and down for many teams. You look at Barnsley, who 1 minute were in the automatic promotion race, but now look like they're going to fall out the playoffs. You look at Lincoln City, who looked settled in mid-table, but are now battling for the playoff places. I think they're sitting 6th at the moment. And you look at Oxford United at one point were a few points clear in second, but now could end up not even getting playoffs. Bolton Wanderers have spent time in second. Posh, Peterborough, they've spent time in second. Obviously, Pompey, the only sort of consistent figure in that top 6 who have gone all the way through, sort of first or second. Obviously, Stevenage had their time, but obviously they've now lost Steve Evans to Rotherham. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle their summer. What manager are they going to bring in? Obviously, Rotherham have already made their decision. They've got Steve Evans, and he's going to have to rebuild that Rotherham side. Can he do a Paul Warne and get him straight back up in his first season? Turn them back into a bit of a yo-yo side. That's going to be very interesting to see. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Which team is going to come out victorious in these 2 games? Are Peterborough going to keep the pressure on for automatic promotion? Are Cambridge going to win at at home to Wycombe? Who knows what's going to happen? It is the joy of football. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch you in the next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.